We're gonna go get some Mexican food now because I'm a hungry girl. Hungies, exactly. But it's fine. Welcome to another episode of Brown Girl Unscripted. It's your girl Rucha. I'm the host of this podcast, and welcome to my channel. If you haven't done it already, make sure you smash that subscribe button and tune into videos every single week. On today's episode, we have a very special guest. As always, all my guests are special, but this one is extra special. Her name is Sarah mcduff. She is a brand strategist, singer, songwriter, and model. Welcome to Brown Girl Unscripted, Sarah.
Hi.
I love that. She also has a podcast of her own. Sarah, how are you doing today? It is a fine 2 p.m. It's 2 p.m., right?
It's all right. Literally, everything is just so all right now, honestly. Are things good? Sure. Are things bad? Not not really, but it's whatever. I feel good. I'm grateful to be alive at least, you know? Yeah.
Period. Honestly, that's a vibe. What's been the highlight of your week?
Honestly, doing this, our conversation from last night was a really big highlight. I think I was in a period where I was starting to close myself off a little bit emotionally and even like physically, as in like from other people and like friends and wanting to stay inside and secluded. But Rucha called and it led to like one of the most amazing conversations, and it really opened me up like emotionally and made me realize that, you know what, you need people. You need people, girl. So I feel like this is like pushing me out of my comfort zone that I sometimes want to retreat to whenever I feel on the defense with life.
Oh, that's actually so sweet. Also, guys, for reference, Sarah and I are best friends from college. We met in 2018. We were living on the same floor. We were in this LLC / area. Yeah. Were you in the LLC? Because how did that work?
It's really crazy because she's an engineer. So she was in the engineering LLC, and the engineering LLC took up like a partial floor of this one dorm hall that we lived in. But I think me and my roommates at the time just so happened to also be in the same exact area. So that is where I ended up meeting so many of the people that I like became friends with and love, and that's how I met Richa. And yeah, it was literally just by chance. That was what was available to the rest of us that weren't in the LLC. So yeah.
I totally forgot about that. It's been so long.
Sorry, but college can go. Oh, like always. College can go. Like, I really was fighting for my life every day. It was better near the end, honestly. It definitely got better near the end for sure. But I think for a good majority of it, good 75% of the time, fighting for my life. Because I just wasn't emotionally, mentally, I wasn't there. It was so much more freedom than I was used to. It was such a huge transition period in my life, and you would think that the learning curve was solely subject to like your freshman year. But I feel like for me, it even transitioned over to the majority of the few years that I was there. So I think all of it was just a continuous learning lesson, just adapting to having more freedom and more agency, learning to steer away from, I think, the self-sabotage that's typically normal for, young adults that are growing, and just navigating friendships, navigating romance. No, not at all. Like, and just, and also having to perform well academically on top of all of that. Like, it was just something that I really, at first, I think again, not to say that I struggled with, but yeah, I struggled for sure. I definitely struggled. And then I got myself together, like, at a certain point in time, and I was just ready to get out of there. And so I did.
Literally, that part about struggling and then just like getting yourself together, I feel like that's so real, and so many college kids can relate to that, because I definitely relate to that. I mean, looking back at college, I think that you have so much self-doubt and so much bullshit that you're dealing with all at once, and just even like growing pains. I would say you're figuring stuff out, you're navigating relationships, situationships, you're navigating friendship breakups, right? Like that's real. Like you think that like, oh, it's just a high school thing. No, but like that continues.
High school was hard too. I think honestly, just me in relation to any educational institution, like I don't know if we really pair well, like at all. Me and authority, I don't know if that works. Not, and it's like I feel like I'm not like rebellious, but I think I just am gonna do whatever the fuck I want. I just think school, the structure of school, the foundation of school, especially I guess maybe in America too, because I know that our systems are pretty not great compared to other places in the world. I think also just like it could just be a Western thing. I think a lot of school systems are flawed, and I think that there is always a bit more that can be done to ensure the well-being and quality of life of students and even like faculty. And I just think that every person's experience with school is going to be different, but I think it's very normal, and I think it's very typical that kids have a hard time in school. It is literally just hard. I think it's set up to be a bit difficult. You do want to perform well, but you are transitioning as a person on an individual level, and I don't think growing pains will ever, pair well with also needing to like pass biology. So I just think that, but honestly, like I feel like I wouldn't be who I am today without anything that I experienced, especially whether it was in school or not. Like I think I'm pretty happy with the outcome that is me today. So it's fine. Yeah. Plus that I have the degree, so we're up. We're up. We're up. I'm educated. But that master's, I don't know.
You think that a master's in today's job market / today's not the I with the job market. You're like, girl, no, I feel you. No, literally, like I think that a master's it's really everyone has different opinions on this. I myself, guys, was looking at masters, and I think I want to like hold it for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I think that it's a lot of money for, I don't know how much return you get unless you do a very specialized degree. You know? Like, I think if I did a master's, it would have to be in, I don't know, like freaking data science or something like that. I don't know if it would be helpful for me to get it in something that wasn't as specialized or really technical, because I can just get job experience in the same thing and get ahead, if anything. You know what I mean?
That I completely understand. I feel like I've been thinking so much more recently about getting my master's, which is crazy because if you asked me like 5 months ago, I literally would have spit on you. I would have been like, I would be like, why would you bring that up? Like, why would you bring that up to me? That was rude. But I don't know. There's something about the idea of getting my master's that just,
2 degrees.
yeah. It's just like,
I'm double educated. I get it.
it's like, yeah, I have my master's in XYZ, JK, like, I don't know. It's like, it just would make me, it is a flex. Like, I feel like it would just make me feel so sexy. Yes. Like, and
$200,000.
whoa, $200,000 is crazy. But I'm considering like my options for it. I think if anything, I would probably even just apply and see where that goes. And like, at the end of the day, if you apply and you get it, that's great. If you don't, like, that's fine. And yeah, but I love the idea of getting my master's is really fun because it kind of reminds me that the world really is your oyster, and that you can either get your master's and that becomes like a huge essential part of like your development and your growth in your life, or you don't and like you find yourself career-wise like another way. So yeah, I think that's the exciting part of it. But I would do it just because I feel like my career path, or where the field that I, hope to stay in for the rest of my life, I think I'm always willing to learn more. And I think it would simply stem from me wanting to learn more and making sure that I am the most refined professional in my field, if possible.
Period. Spoken like a classy woman. I take it. Okay. Well, okay. Speaking of your field, let's talk about, I mean, you're a singer, songwriter, model, all of that. Like, spill the tea. Spill the tea.
I mean, I am a singer. I am a songwriter. I'm an artist. I love writing music. I love singing. I literally love singing. I've always loved singing. I just remember being like really young and like being in like elementary school and always joining like the talent show and just going up there and singing like a fucking Paramore song. Like that, yeah. Dude,
That's
like
so cool.
that was just like who I was as a kid. Like that's what I gravitated towards. Any opportunity that there was to be on stage, I just made my way there. It wasn't until like a few years ago though, like it wasn't until college though that I kind of considered that maybe being a singer could be a career path. Because up until that point I was like, there's just no way. That just wasn't anything that I was like thinking of. But I think especially in like light of the pandemic, that was like a huge point in time for me, like a huge transition period for me, where I kind of started to think more about who I wanted to be if I was able to kind of surpass the level of like I think tragedy that was going on at the time. I just like really thought more about my life and how I wanted to spend it, and I think my career has always been a big thing for me too. I remember being like really young, and I wasn't like a child that like prayed ardently, or like, I wasn't like an avid prayer warrior at like it, or whatever, but I remember being really young and talking to God and being like, I just want my career to be something that, can sustain me financially. I didn't use those big words, but I was like, that can sustain me financially and can also but can also make me really happy. And so I think, considering that my career was always really important, I knew it would be a big part of my life and still has, yet to develop. I was like, maybe music can be a part of it, since I love that so much.
I think it's really cool that you knew everything at such a young age.
I feel like everyone has that. Like, I feel like when it comes to, I guess, wanting to discover what your purpose or your path is in life, the best thing that you can do for yourself is to just like reflect on who you were as a child. I feel like that comes, whatever you see that came most naturally to you at such a young age, I think is probably an indicator of like something that aligns best with your soul purpose. And I think for me, just like I remember like trying to like write a song on like my little HP like mini laptop that I had when I was like in middle school or something, or like, again, doing the talent shows, or like just really wanting to like attempting to play the flute, failing that. I wanted to play the trumpet. My dad said that it was for boys though, so I did the flute. I hated the flute.
I can see how trumpet, like, I don't agree with that, but like, you know what I mean?
Exactly,
like the trumpet is very like, I don't know, imagining some like random boy named like Jimmy, like, playing the trumpet.
I would have eaten up the trumpet, so it's fine.
So going back to what you said about, knowing what you wanted to do as a kid and like really being strong at that throughout your life, how do you feel like manifestation and really honing into the vision that you want for your life has played into like how your life has panned out?
I think about this all the time. Manifestation is such an interesting concept to me right now, because I'm starting to get to a point in my life where I start to question just how many of our choices and desires are really our own, and how much of it I think is implanted within us to kind of just like hearken to and also enact upon. But I think like where I am now in life, I mean, just being able to say that I live in New York and that I work in the music industry, it like took a lot of commitment. I think that there were so many opportunities previously for me to get like a regular job at like, you know, an advertising agency. Maybe I could have stayed in Philadelphia after post grad and, you know, found something there. Or, you know, I mean, cost of living there is, first of all, just way more affordable. There are just so many ways that I think I could have taken the easier route. And, but I just felt so called to be in the city. I felt really called to work in music. I wasn't allowing myself to look at any other option aside from what it is that I wanted. And I think that that is ultimately what kept me on the path towards living the life that I am able to live now. Is everything perfect? No. But like, I think that things will progressively get better, especially as I get older. And I pray that that's the case for all of us. But yeah, I think I will say that I am really, really proud of just like the level of commitment that I think I had to being in New York and to working in music, and that I allowed that to come to fruition, rather than choosing otherwise against like, you know, what it is that I wanted. I think there came a lot of stressors and a lot of doubts and worries too. Well, I don't know if for some reason I feel like when it comes to things like music and even like living in New York, like that has just always been a given to me. Like there was just no room for doubting it. But I think that in other areas of my life I do experience quite a bit of doubt, and I think that the road here wasn't necessarily easy either. But I think she was fine, and I think I was fine, and I think that I would probably just like tell her that she's doing great and that like she should just keep going, like if anyone, and also that it doesn't matter what anyone else says. Like whether people are giving you positive feedback or negative feedback, it doesn't matter. Like what actually matters is what you decide within yourself, and like everything will fall into place accordingly, because people outside of you can change their minds about you literally in 2 seconds, but like you're the one person that you can trust to be consistent in regards to like your outlook on your own life.
Do you guys hear that? Listen to your damn self and follow your, I don't want to say follow your dreams, it's so cheesy.
Maybe like your dream is like your reality, so like just follow your reality, or like what you feel called to do. I think everyone, what you feel called to do. Just don't like try to steer away from like what you think you need to do. I don't know. I'm someone who like really lives life based off of like feeling and like emotion, or not emotion, because emotions are very emotions can be very unstable. I don't think it's very sustainable to live solely off of emotions, but I think that gut feeling, just like really listening to yourself, going inward, I think is how I operate best, and I think that brings me the most success in life. I think when I try to like really think with my head, I get in my own way and I like stumble over my own 2 feet. So if there's anyone out there who is more emotional, or like they consider themselves intuitive, or they kind of just, you know, are more of a deeply feeling individual, like then operate from life in that way. You don't have to be type A to be successful. You don't have to be any sort of way to be successful. It's just about what you feel called to do, and if you're taking the steps or the actions that are within your power to like pursue that and to see it come to life. So yeah, but life is just gonna happen too, so just be open to the different ways that your dreams can come true.
No, that's so real. Like life is just gonna happen, and you have to be open to it. I think that like so much of even what you said about, you know, getting in your own way, I think that everyone does that. You know, you overthink. Like I remember in one of my chem classes back in, this is literally like 6th or 7th grade, my chem teacher was like, you're really smart, but I noticed that on your quizzes you select the answer. I'm thinking of like online exams.
Yeah, I get
but exams where you select the answer, I can tell you overthink it and you selected the wrong answer. So just trust your gut. Like, you know the answer. I know you studied for it. So just do it, you know?
Really speaks to me, because I remember being young and there was like a study, like I'm telling you, this was probably like middle school, like elementary school, and then there was a study that they presented to us where they were like, yeah, girls are more inclined to second guess their initial answer, which would ultimately cause them to choose the wrong answer. And I think I internalized that, and I think that was self-fulfilling prophecy, honestly, which sucks. But like, I think that that sentiment really resonates with me as well, because I think now, even though I still struggle with, being able to fully determine, like, oh, was that the right thing to do? Was it not the right thing to do? I think now it's just about being really confident in whatever choice I do make. And hopefully just going for whatever that initial push was to do. I don't know, it's kind of hard. I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, how do you navigate decision making? I don't know. Because I feel like there is that initial thing that you want to go with, and then there's a ration and the reason that comes in, or the rationalization and the reason that comes in, and you kind of want to listen to that too because it makes sense. But then it's also like, but are you thinking too much, especially as such a feeler? And then it's like, and that's where I start to get confuzzled. But I think but like what has helped me is just like making the decisions on my own and no longer consulting friends or family when it comes to certain things. I think I'm a lot better now at discerning when it is that I can actually go externally for advice and additional input, and when I should really just sit with myself and, force myself to know and understand that I do know the answer. Or at least I do know the answer based on what it is that I understand and know right now. And like, if it bites me in the ass later, it bites me in the ass, but I think I'm just more willing to own up to my decisions. So yeah,
love the being able to make your decisions more independently now, because I think that is really important. I think so many of the times when you consult even friends or family members, they are just trying to protect you. Like, that's what everyone's thing is gonna be. They're like, it's very, not, I wouldn't say rare, but there's very select few people that if you have really big dreams for yourself and you know that, hey, like, I know this is gonna come true, I feel it in my gut, I'm taking the decisions, that they will be like, yes, like, I see that for you too. Because people otherwise are gonna be like, oh my god, like, not in terms of like trying to put you down, even that's not even the intention. It's just, if they themselves think that it's like unrealistic, they're just trying to protect you. And I think that like being able to make decisions by yourself like that is such an important skill. It's developed though, you don't have it right away. But because of course, like, the natural thing as humans is like, oh, you want to like talk to your friend or your like parents and have that like approval, the external validation. It's hard. It's fucking hard. Yeah. But I agree with you. I think that like being able to just go with that first choice, like you said, is so important, because end of the day, when I look back on my decisions, that first choice, the thing that I always knew, like, that's kind of the thing that I end up going back to. You know what I mean? Like, when I look at choices, any of the wrong choices have just been when I overthink too much or like anything like that. But usually it's like, oh, well, do I want this or do I not want it? And making that quick decision making, it's just so important for you. If you know that, I mean, I know for me, like, I'm like, okay, well, I struggle with this, so let's just make the decision quickly rather than thinking about it, risk evaluating, and then you get in your own way, and it's like, no.
The book that I'm currently reading, it kind of touches on one of my big interests is like consciousness. I talk about this all the time. So like, I'm not gonna, I love collective consciousness. I love manifestation. I love like just all of it. And it kind of touches on the idea that there is an answer to every question. And so it's like, I think if you allow yourself to really make room for whatever that answer is, you really should just trust yourself, like, it. And although maybe some people might be more type A than they are like a deep feeler, everyone has intuition, everyone has access to it. And yeah, it's really interesting. I think I feel good about the trajectory of my decision-making practices. I think that it'll always be something that is in flux no matter how old I am, but I'm praying that I can become someone who operates like solely off of, discernment and intuition, and can just really, really trust themselves, as I continue to grow older, because that I think is just like, I think that makes life more fun, like, than sitting around and having to rationalize everything. And also, I think I was told more recently that my tendency to want to logic my way through everything kind of is kind of just a defense mechanism against like potentially feeling hurt or
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, you're right, and that's, I think, yeah, that's definitely pushing me towards just being able, just trusting myself.
That was crazy. Yeah.
It was crazy when I heard it.
Yeah. No, because I feel similarly. I think that not about you necessarily, but about myself. I would say that I feel like I definitely get in my own way when I try to logic my way out of it when it comes to decisions, because then I don't know, if you go over just based on a purely logic perspective, everyone should be working in like some sort of like insurance company.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Real estate.
Yeah, or
Or,
insurance,
like,
real
yeah.
estate, or like blockchain.
Yeah.
Any of the podcasts I've listened to, or any just content I've seen of leaders that are like way older than us, you know, someone like Steve Jobs, or there are other names that I'm not gonna name because it's controversial,
Yeah.
but you know who I'm talking about.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, you know the vibes. But other people, even the CEO of Bumble, she's not controversial, right?
Yeah.
She's chill, yeah. She's not a hater. But anyways, the point is, like, they always talk about making business decisions from intuition and gut, because any of these really big successful people, anyone who like we see in media, television, anyone who's basically like has a net worth greater than like $600,000 is making decisions based on intuition a lot. Yeah, because if you make decisions based on logic for your like $2 billion company, a $2 million company, you're not gonna get anything done, because most of the time it just won't make sense. You know what I mean?
It's also because not everyone has, I think, their own set path or their own experience. Like, there are so many people right now that are also artists and musicians, and they want to do this professionally, but their journey is going to look so much different than mine. Their journey is going to look so much different than the next person's, and it's because everyone has different lessons that they are meant to encounter within their process of becoming. And I think if you are looking at someone else as a means to make your own decisions, you're still going to end up with a completely different outcome than they did. I mean, you might find, I think it's again, I think it just calls into play like being able to use discernment and just like, I think being open to information as well, but you still have to pull from it what resonates. Like, you still have to actively do that on your own. And because for me, I mean, there's so many ways that people will tell you need to go about making music or promoting your music, or you know X, Y, and Z, whatever. But not all of it feels right for me, and I have to I think I need to listen to that. Otherwise, I think I kind of just end up in this cycle of like doing, but not feeling fulfilled by anything, and feeling like I'm falling flat and kind of just, yeah. But I also think that I'm someone that needs to be mindful of staying within my comfort zone and allowing myself to be pushed. So it is nice to allow myself to see what it is that I'm capable of. But yeah, I think a lot of these people that are, I guess, making it, whatever, I don't know, yeah, whatever that means, I think they are doing it based off of feeling and intuition, because you can't expect that the decisions that you made yesterday will work today, and you have to be willing to pivot and to change your, navigate your process according to what is needed today and what you feel called to. Yeah. It's very interesting. I think that's the thing about business. All of it, life in and of itself is just so unpredictable. It's just not always going to work. You're going to change. The market's going to change. Your industry of choice is going to change. climate is going to change. A lot of everything is going to change. So you just have to be ready to move accordingly. And I think you can do that best if you have a strong internal, compass.
You said it so well. She's been saying that all day. Anytime I compliment her, she's like, sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, I always end off each podcast episode asking the guest what they wish they could tell their younger self. Like, I'm thinking like middle school, high school vibes.
If I could go back to any and every young version of myself, I would tell her that she is lovable, that she's loved, that she is cared for, that she's doing so well, so much better than she thinks she is, and that, that even if she feels a little different, like, that's okay. It's like one of her biggest strengths. And
that's so cute, Sarah. Oh my god, you're tearing up too.
No, I'm literally like
No, I feel like everyone needs to hear that. Had a lovely time chatting with you. We're gonna go get some Mexican food now because I'm a hungry girl. Hungies, exactly. But it's fine. But again, thank you for coming on. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, what you want to see more of. And if you haven't done it already, make sure you rate the podcast on Spotify and hit that subscribe button because that's how we grow. So if you want to support, if you fuck with anything we said, anything we did, love you. Bye.